this is Tina, and welcome back to Feeling Glad. So, after the short intro video, I decided to do a more detailed information video about sugar gliders. And in this video, I'm going to talk about some basic facts and what you want to be aware of before you decide to get a sugar glider as a pet. So, first of all, sugar gliders are marsupials, and they're not rodents. Their teeth won't keep growing. They're not the same as flying squirrels. Also, they're originally from New Guinea, so they are exotic pets. They're also nocturnal animals, which make them not necessarily a very good pet for just anyone. Um, they are also colony animals, which means for most of the time, gliders do a lot better when they're friends. That's for most of the cases. So if you're thinking about getting a glider, I would recommend at least getting two. Also, gliders can live for 10 to 15 years, which is a pretty long time commitment. So you want to keep that in mind if you're actually thinking about getting a glider. After that, these are just some basic facts, and now I'm going to move into more of a pet aspect of sugar gliders. So first of all, as long as you're not planning on breeding, males should always be neutered. It can help with a lot of different problems. Also, sugar gliders do have a pretty high standards for diet. I'm not talking about like they need to eat the fancy fruits or like fancy vegetables. No, I'm talking about like their diet have a really high requirements of a certain ratio of different nutritions. For example, if a glider don't have enough calcium, it can lead to weaker bones and it can cause hind leg paralysis, which can eventually cause death for gliders. However, you think, okay, then more calcium is always better. No, it's not true because too much calcium can actually be bad for the liver. So, because of this, there are a few different diets you can choose from, but most of the diet you need to make it at home, I think. For most of the diet, you make it at home, and usually people just make a huge batch and store them in the fridge, freeze them, and then serve that each day. So, they do have a pretty high standards for diets, though. Also, for sugar gliders, you kind of need a pretty large cage for them. I wouldn't recommend any type of hamster cages or rabbit cages. The thing you want to look for is probably like bird cages. The minimum requirements, I think, for 2 to 3 gliders is a Brisbane cage from Exotic Nutritions. The cage itself is 36 inch high, 33 inch wide, and 22 inch deep. I think that's a minimum. The bigger, better. They will definitely love that. Also, keep in mind, even though you have seen those really cool videos of gliders glide onto their owner's hands that have been trained, that's not for all the gliders. Like, not all the gliders will bond as easily. They do have different personalities. Some are really laid back and just love to slip in your hand. Some are really liked to discover and like to run around you and like to sniff like, oh, different new things. Some are biters. Like, I got a girl, it took me almost half a year to make her stop biting me. So, yeah, not all bonding will go well. So be prepared for that. Also, gliders do have a smell. You probably have seen sometimes online people say no, they don't smell. They're great pets. No, they do have a smell. It's just a matter of how strong it is. For me personally, I have 8 gliders. One of my males is not neutered, and then I have 2 females, and then all my other males are neutered. I don't think I can smell them when I'm like sitting on the couch, even though their cage are right behind me. However, if you put your face into the cage, you can smell them. They do have a smell. Also, a neutered male. People say that like a neutered male tends to smell more. For me, I never think that's the case, but I think yeah, for most people's experience, that is true, and also neutered male do help with aggression, like aggressiveness. Um, Talking about their cage and smell, gliders cannot be potty trained, which means if you want to play with them, you need to be prepared to have poop and pee on you. It's a pretty common thing for them. It's also a pretty common way for them to mark you. So, honestly, sometimes I think most of the glider owners will take that and will also appreciate that because that means their gliders love them and claim the human as theirs. Also, gliders do require a certain amount of time. You need to play with them, bond with them. Also, thinking about how big their cages are, it can take quite an amount of time to clean their cage. You also do need to trim their nails, or their nails will get caught on stuff in the cage, and it can be pretty dangerous for them. And since we're talking about nail trimming, toys and cage sets, most of the cage toys and stuff you can find in the pet store are like you will think that can be suitable for gliders. They're mostly for birds or hamsters. Those are not a very good idea because a lot of those toys are not safe for sugar gliders. Their nails are really small, which means they can get caught into like a really tiny gap between plastics, and it can break their nail. And even worse, if they get caught, they might chew their toe off or the whole hand feet off just to escape. So talking about that, safety is very very important for your glider. One of the main part of safety is to make sure you get the glider safe toys and cage sets. So I make those at my own page, my Facebook page. The link is down below. But if you just want to message me asking what make the cage sets or toys safe or unsafe, always feel free to do that. I'll probably make a series of videos about these parts later on. Also, this is another part of safety. Gliders should not interact with other pets. You may think your cats or dogs are very friendly to their gliders, like they never try to attack them. That might be the case. And no, even that I still won't risk it because gliders are so small, and sometimes even when the cats or dogs are not trying to kill them, they might accidentally hurt them. Like a slight smack from the dog can like break their bone. So to avoid that, I personally would say they should not interact with other pets, only gliders or humans. Um, as far as safety goes, I think that's where I'm going to stop. The next one is kind of related. It's about vets. So sure, gliders are exotic pets, which means not all vets see them. They're not as common as cats and dogs. So before you like go through all the list above and saying, okay, I can deal with all of this, I want to have a sure glider. Before you actually go out and try to find a glider, you want to make sure there are vets around you that's available. I'm really lucky where I live. I have a vet like in the same town, and they also do neuter daily checks and stuff. The vet we use is very knowledgeable about gliders. However, other than the normal vet, you also want to have an emergency vet because, as you say, gliders are nocturnal, and if there's anything going bad, it's probably at night. So if there's something going wrong at night, you'll want to make sure they can get the vet care they need, which normal animal hospitals won't be open, so you'll need an emergency vet. That is also very important. I think that's all I have for now. Please subscribe to the channel and like my page. And if you have any idea about what my next video should be, always feel free to comment. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And I'll call it good for today. Thank you. Bye.